it's time for the compound men's gold medal match. Well, we're here in the beautiful city of Medellin in Colombia, famed for its strong contingent of archers. As we saw in the bronze medal match, Jagdeep Singh and Sebastian Arenas went up against the other, but there's no Colombian representation in this gold medal match. Instead, it's Roberto Hernandez from El Salvador against Bryan Alvarado of Puerto Rico.
Roberto Hernandez. En la paca número 2 y representando a Puerto Rico, Bryan Alvarado. El juez del partido, Casín Rodríguez. Inicia disparando paca número 1, Roberto Hernandez, El Salvador.
So here we have it. Time for the compound men's gold medal match between Roberto Hernandez of El Salvador on target number 1 and Bryan Alvarado of Puerto Rico on target number 2. And it will be Hernandez on target 1, the top of your screen. Who will shoot first in this gold medal match? It's time for end number 1. Oh, what a start! Tickling the spider. Perfect from Roberto Hernandez. Bit of a reset going on here. Bit of nerves for Bryan Alvarado from Puerto Rico. Used a lot of time to get into this position. Had a very, very fast shot. How did he get a 9 out of that?
Yeah, he left his face mask on. It was completely natural to him to still be there when the buzzer went off, and he had to remove it very quickly before he got that arrow away, which fortunately he did in the time. They only get 20 seconds to shoot.
Incredible, really, from Alvarado. What a start from Roberto Hernandez, a perfect 30. And we'd already talked about the confidence. Alvarado taking a long time to set his third, but shooting so fast. Once he's got that arrow onto the bow, there's no mucking around. It's a 28 for him, though. What an incredible start, Nikki.
Wow, yeah, I don't think we've seen that quite yet with opening up after the pandemic, but these archers have to wear their face masks off the line, so he did the right thing, but I think it just blends in now, doesn't it? It's part of your uniform at the moment, and I don't think that's going to do much for your nerves. You've got that little time to really get that first shot off, so I'm sure his heart rate was very, very high.
Through the roof. I mean, a bit got away with a 9, but I mean, from the point that he actually got to drawing to releasing the arrow, it just looked like a shot from the hip, basically. Contrast and compare to Roberto Hernandez, who put his first arrow right in the middle of the target.
He did, yeah. It's nothing better than coming out with hitting the spider on your first shot in the gold medal match.
Seemingly cool as a cucumber, the Puerto Rican Bryan Alvarado starts the match with an incredibly impressive 9 after forgetting to remove his COVID mask, but trails by 2 as we go into end number 2. Right, well, we started with a bit of fanfare, especially from this man here, Alvarado, at the beginning of this gold medal match. It's a little bit more settled at the start of the second end for him.
Oh. I think we have another puncher in our midst.
Yeah, drifting high and into the 7. Solid from Hernandez.
The long hold, bit of movement on the shot, but wow, straight in the middle.
Incredibly solid from Roberto Hernandez. It's a little sporadic from Alvarado though, but he gets a 9 this time. A 26 for him. Puts him up on 54, but another big opportunity for Hernandez. And it's another perfect from him as well. Hasn't dropped a point here yet and leads after 2 ends by 6 points. Roberto Hernandez on 60. Bryan Alvarado on 54. Well, Nikki, you talked about punches earlier on. I think we're getting to see the difference in the shots from Alvarado.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see his thumb hit the trigger there, but it's just so erratic, isn't it? The shot. So he just, he's moving his front arm to try and get them in as well. But it's a completely different style. Whereas Roberto is just solid. He's using back tension. The timing's the same every time. Yeah, much more consistent.
Well, even in slow motion, Roberto Hernandez looks incredibly solid. No movement at all. And it's taken him to 2 perfect 30s and a commanding lead. Let's see what happens in end number 3. So Bryan Alvarado from Puerto Rico, a former under-18 world champion back in 2017. Finds himself in a little bit of a hole here, but he's shooting first and has a chance to put some pressure on his opponent, Roberto Hernandez.
To be fair, he looks like he's shooting a hinge, but he could be. See, his thumb's not on that trigger, but he could just be kind of hinging it consciously, so making the shot happen. Yep, see the thumb come off the peg.
So a 28 this time. It's better than the last one. Oh, just look at that. 3 in a row. Hasn't dropped a point, Roberto Hernandez, in this gold medal match. And has 90 points. You can't get more than that after 3. An incredible performance from him, and he's 8 points ahead of his opponent, Bryan Alvarado. Well, look, we've talked about Alvarado's variety, and it's a little erratic, as you put it, but Hernandez is opposite end of the scale, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just dead solid. He's coming to full draw, settling in. I think, shooting lovely back tension. The shots are the same timing every time. He's just up there aiming and just waiting for that shot to break. And we've seen a lot of times with Bryan, you see the arrow fall off the rest end and he's kind of hooking it back with his finger to get it back on.
Very, very different styles from these two archers, that's for sure. And I had noticed the fact that he was lifting that arrow back on a number of times. Well, let's see what Alvarado can do. Trailing by 8 points, he's going to shoot first in end number 4. Making a little adjustment, the Puerto Rican. This is just incredible from Roberto Hernandez.
Those shots looked much calmer, didn't they? You could see he set up, he took his thumb off, he was really working the hinge back tension, but just glancing out into nines, both of them. Oh, solid.
Well, certainly a group of shots that looked a little bit more calm, a little bit more smooth, but it is another 28. It's 110, a 10-point lead. He's up for grabs here with another 10, and of course it is another 10. Fourth perfect score in a row for Roberto Hernandez. He leads by 10 points. I think we can fairly safely say that he will take a gold here in Medellin, but now the pressure is somewhat different, Nikki, because he's on for a perfect 150.
Yeah, I think you're really going for the commentator's curse there, aren't you? I mean, anything could happen in this match, but yeah, what a fantastic first four ends. I mean, it doesn't literally get any better than that. So it'd be really, really interesting to see if he can really keep these last three arrows solid in the 10.
Well, he's certainly looked very consistent, and I get what you're saying about cursing him, but we see so many archers get to 14 arrows into the 10, and it's the 15th one that drops out. Hernandez looking solid. He looks like he's unraffled, and he certainly looks like he's got the endurance that we've been talking about.
Yeah, definitely. He's got every chance of making it. So, yeah, I'm just really excited to see. Can he do it?
So are we going to get a perfect 150? It's time for end number 5. So Bryan Alvarado from Puerto Rico on target number 2, shooting first in this fifth and final end of the compound men's gold medal match, trailing by 10 points. This is all about pride. Starts with a 10, and his shooting has become a lot more, well, just controlled in the last couple of ends. Hernandez has been control personified throughout, and is still on for a maximum 152 arrows to go for him, as there are for Alvarado. Another 10, and he's on for his first perfect score. So first, can Alvarado finish on a high with a perfect 30? Oh, yes, he can. What a great recovery from him to finish on 130. But all eyes on Roberto Hernandez. 150 up for grabs. Boom! He's hit it. What a brilliant performance from Roberto Hernandez from El Salvador. 15 10s in a row. What a brilliant way to take gold here at the City of Medellin World Ranking event. A 150 to take gold. Brilliant, brilliant, Nikki. I love seeing the 150s, but I mean, what a talent to actually be able to score it on a world stage at a big event like this.
Yeah, absolutely. To stand out here with the big screens, look at this, you know, quite a dominating field. You stand in there, and yeah, just to perform like that in the gold final, absolutely incredible.
Amazing stuff from this man, Roberto Hernandez. In the gold medal match, he started with a quite brilliant shot that hit the very center of the X-ring. And it was a sign of things to come. Look at that group that he shot, and the final couple of arrows going in. He just stayed so calm throughout. Went through the same process time and time again. And there was a hint of a little smile from him as well. And there you go. I did it. That was a 150. Perfect stuff from Roberto Hernandez. And it was a great recovery from Bryan Alvarado after a dramatic start where he forgot to remove his mask. Got his first arrow out in one of the most impressive shots I've ever seen to hit a 9 and recovered to shoot a perfect 30 in the final end, but lost in the end to a quite brilliant Roberto Hernandez of El Salvador.